She couldn't even read the menu. The words swam in front of her tired eyes as the Mafia boss laughed, a cold, cruel sound that echoed through the dimly lit restaurant. Vincent Moretti's laughter wasn't just mocking, it was a weapon, designed to crush the spirit of anyone who dared stand in his world. And tonight, that target was Clara Thompson, a young waitress barely out of her teens, trembling behind the counter as she tried to take orders from men whose presence alone could make anyone's knees weaken. The smell of expensive cigars and whiskey clung to the air, suffocating and intoxicating all at once. Clara's hands shook as she fumbled with the tray, hoping desperately to survive the night without humiliation. Before we go further, if you believe in kindness and second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel, because some stories remind us that humanity can exist even in the darkest places. Clara had grown up in a small town in Ohio, raised by her grandmother after her parents died in a car accident when she was only 7. Life had taught her early that survival required quiet strength, even when the world felt unjust. School had been difficult. Dyslexia made reading a nightmare, turning simple menus into indecipherable puzzles. She had learned to smile through confusion, to fake understanding, and to hope no one noticed. But tonight, in front of Vincent Moretti, hiding her fear was impossible. Vincent leaned back in his chair, black suit perfectly tailored, eyes scanning Clara like a predator observing prey. His laughter had a way of making everyone in the restaurant shrink away, and the men sitting with him mirrored his mockery. Clara's chest tightened as she heard the words in French, mocking her inability to even read the menu aloud. She wanted to disappear. She wanted the floor to open and swallow her whole. But running wasn't an option. She had responsibilities, debts to pay, and her grandmother's health to consider. Clara placed the tray on the table with trembling hands, trying to steady her voice as she repeated the items on the menu. She stumbled, twisted the words, and tried to hide her shame behind a polite smile. The Mafia boss leaned forward, and the warmth of human kindness was nowhere to be found in his gaze. Yet, in that cold, tense moment, Clara remembered her grandmother's words. Courage isn't the absence of fear, Clara. It's standing up even when you're scared. She swallowed hard, took a deep breath, and continued, refusing to let tears blur her vision. The night dragged on, each table more intimidating than the last, but the Moretti table remained the hardest. Vincent's laughter occasionally cut through the murmur of the restaurant, each time more demeaning than the last. But Clara kept moving, kept smiling, and slowly, something shifted. One of the men, a young enforcer with eyes softer than his companions, quietly handed her a notepad and pen, gesturing that she could write down the orders if speaking aloud was difficult. That small act, so simple yet so profound, gave Clara the courage to persist. Her life had always been a series of small victories hidden behind struggles no one could see. She worked 2 jobs, cleaned tables, and helped her grandmother, who had raised her with nothing but love and resilience. Reading menus might have been hard, but kindness, empathy, and perseverance had always come naturally. Now, as she scribbled orders in neat, careful handwriting, she realized that even amidst ridicule and fear, human compassion existed in unexpected corners. The turning point came when a young boy entered the restaurant with his mother. Clara noticed him struggling with a crayon drawing that had fallen on the floor. Without thinking, she crouched, helped him pick it up, and offered an encouraging smile. Vincent Moretti watched from his chair, intrigued by this small but defiant spark of humanity in a world dominated by intimidation and power. It was in that fleeting moment that the Mafia boss noticed something he hadn't in years: genuine courage, quiet strength, and the innocence that the world had not yet broken. Clara's hands, though trembling at the start, now moved with a grace that reflected her determination. She memorized the menu bit by bit so that no one could laugh at her ignorance again. Vincent, who had intended to humiliate her, found himself observing in silence. There was no malice left in her eyes. There was only resilience, vulnerability, and a refusal to give up. The contrast struck him hard, awakening a part of his own conscience long buried under crime, wealth, and fear. Weeks passed, and the restaurant became a strange, silent battlefield of character and morality. Clara continued to serve, each day growing more confident, more adept at reading menus aloud, yet never losing her humble charm. Vincent returned occasionally, sometimes bringing other business associates. Each time, the memory of that first night lingered. His laughter had meant to break her, but instead, it had revealed her courage. Slowly, the ice around his heart began to thaw. He began to notice the small gestures that mattered. The way she treated customers with dignity, the way she remembered everyone's preferences, the patience she extended to struggling coworkers. Then came the day Clara's grandmother fell seriously ill. The hospital bills threatened to overwhelm her, and for the first time she allowed herself to feel hopeless. But fate had a strange way of balancing despair and opportunity. Vincent Moretti, who had once laughed at her, came to the restaurant with a discreet envelope. Inside was a generous sum, enough to cover the bills and ensure her grandmother received proper care. He handed it to her quietly, without fanfare, and said nothing, but the gesture spoke volumes. In that moment, Clara realized that even in a world of darkness, light could shine through acts of kindness. Over time, Vincent's visits became less intimidating. He even started seeking her advice on small matters at the restaurant, appreciating the honesty and simplicity she offered, qualities foreign in his complicated, dangerous world. Clara learned that power could be tempered with compassion, and that people, even those deemed irredeemable, could change when touched by genuine human empathy. The waitress who once couldn't read a menu became a symbol of hope, reminding everyone that courage, kindness, and perseverance can triumph in the harshest environments. By the end of that year, Clara had grown into a confident young woman, admired not only for her work ethic but for her heart. She had learned that fear is temporary, that ridicule can be overcome, and that one small act of courage can ripple into monumental change. Vincent, once a symbol of fear and dominance, found in Clara a mirror reflecting his own lost humanity. They didn't become friends in the conventional sense, but a silent respect emerged, a mutual recognition that the world wasn't only black and white. It was the small acts of courage and compassion that painted it with hope. Before we end the story, if it has touched your heart, please engage with this video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you feel moved, leave a comment telling us about a time someone's kindness changed your life, no matter how small. Your words might inspire someone else today. Clara's journey reminds us all that life's battles are often unseen, fought quietly with resilience and dignity. She may have started as the girl who couldn't read the menu, trembling under ridicule, but she became a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of second chances, the importance of kindness, and the unwavering human spirit that refuses to be broken. In the end, courage isn't about never being afraid. It's about standing tall when fear surrounds you, and choosing to act with compassion in a world that often forgets it.